Mall Studios. This is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
I want to take you back in time, Joe. I want to take you back to 1965. I don't know how.
I remember 1965.
I don't know much about that year, but
65. Let's see. I was a senior in junior high.
Okay, but I'm going to take you on the road, and it's on a road trip, and you got to stop at this little motel.
Oh yeah.
And you've been driving 20 hours, and you get to that bed, and in the middle of the two beds, there's this thing you put a quarter in, and it makes the bed vibrate. Right?
Oh yeah.
And what did it say on the little card next to it? It says, "Will remove stress." Do you remember that? Do you remember that?
I don't know about the removing the stress, but it felt good.
A lot of people thought, you could do that. And maybe there was some truth to that. Who knows? I mean, sometimes...
I think that's part mental, too, though, don't you?
It could be. I don't know. We have somebody on the phone who knows a lot about this.
Above my pay grade?
Dr. Amy Serin is on the phone. She's a world-renowned neuropsychologist. She's the inventor of something called touch points. We're going to find out what that is. It's a wearable device, and that's all I know.
A touch point, okay.
And she's talking to us about the truth about stress and how to short-circuit it. And maybe, I'm talking something kind of on the
stress
flimsical side, flimsy side of saying you're driving 20 hours and you're stressed out. But what about something serious? They come back from war, they got PTSD.
That's the heavy end of it. But you could be driving for 10 minutes and get stressed.
Yeah.
Though,
Oh, yeah, right. Dr. Amy Serin, good morning, doctor. Thank you for being on the show with us today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So were you stressed out before you came on the air?
A little bit, actually. I put my devices on before I do any media, and it keeps my stress levels low.
Yeah, you never knew you were going to talk to us, did you?
But I didn't. But I'm glad to be here.
Can I ask you, as a psychologist, did you, 10 years ago, could you even imagine there would actually be a device? I know that quarter in that machine between the beds in the motel, claimed it would fix stress, but I don't know if it did.
Yeah, so it's interesting because we all know vibrations have the possibility of making us feel good in different ways, but we've discovered in our science that having them on both sides of the body alternating actually interferes with the brain network that lowers your stress for you, so you don't even have to focus on it.
Is that right? So am I on to something I didn't realize? Is the device you're talking about able to do on a very high-tech level what that 25-cent machine used to do?
Yeah, it actually does better. So, the baby vibrating seats are the same thing. You put the baby in it and it kind of vibrates. And the truth is that a lot of sensory things we can do, warm water, nice music, things that fill your senses with something that's calming to your brain, that can all calm us down. But the technology now that we've developed is on both sides of the body, and it can actually reduce stress 62% in 30 seconds. So it's a much more profound effect.
Did you just say 30 seconds?
30 seconds. That's published research of over 1,000 people.
And you calm down in 30 seconds, and the stress level goes.
The stress level just melts away. And also, when people are stressed, their body sensations kick up. So your stomach might tense up, or your chest might start pounding, or your shoulders might tense up. And those body sensations associated with stress will reduce about 50% in 30 seconds.
All right, go ahead. You first.
One question. I'm just curious about the biology and what causes stress, and is there an actual purpose for stress? And the reason I'm asking this is because, let's say, for example, you had no fear of anything. You might put your hand on a hot stove, to use an easy example, right? Does stress serve a purpose?
Yeah, we all need some stress. Stress is designed to keep us away from things that might harm us. And even if you've never seen a snake or didn't know what one was, we're actually biologically programmed to go into fight or flight with certain things. It's actually wired into our DNA. And a moderate to mild amount of stress will actually help us be motivated to perform. But anything beyond that puts us close to fight or flight, and it really ruins everything good about the human condition. You can't focus. You're irrational. You're impulsive. This is why people say things in the heat of the moment. Their stress switch is too high. And in my new book, The Stress Switch, I go into all of the things that we misunderstand about stress, because stress is really your body's in-the-moment reaction to some kind of stimulus, whether it be a loud sound or a thought or a pain sensation. There's a network in your brain that's actually turning up and down your stress switch in milliseconds all throughout the day, and it does it without you even knowing that it's doing it.
All right. Yeah. Well, you just the title of your book, The Stress Switch, says towards it that we all know that our brain is wired by electricity that our body makes. How minute it is beyond my paycheck, but I know it's there. I know it's years ago they used to shock treat the patients. Thank goodness they don't do that anymore that I know of. But when you're saying short circuit, we got the right side and the left side of the brain that operates the opposite sides of our body. Does your for lack of words device stop that, the short circuiting?
Yeah, so what it does is it interferes. So this network is almost like a mathematician, and it's constantly calculating what to do with your stress based on all of these inputs that are getting fed into it: sight, sound, smells, thoughts. And it's deciding what to do with your stress. It's deciding where to toggle the stress switch up and down. So the technology adds an input. It's non-invasive, so it's just gentle haptic microvibration. And it seems to change the brain's equation, and then it lowers the stress switch for you.
Vibration, okay. Do you put it on your body? Do you wear it? Do you sit in it? How is that accomplished?
So the devices are two squares, and they sync up with one another, so they alternate, and you can wear them as wearables on your wrist. You can hold them in your hands. You can put them in your pockets or your socks. As long as one's on one side of the body and one's on the other side of the body, they will actually work to interfere with that stress system.
Doctor, does stress cause nightmares?
Absolutely.
So somebody who has, I don't know, chronic nightmare is not even a thing, but I hate having a bad dream. And I always wonder, it's like when you dream you won the lottery, you hope the dreams are coming true. And then when you dream that there was a car crash, you think, oh my gosh, I hope that's just a stupid dream, right?
Right. And when you wake up from a nightmare, you're actually in fight or flight. So this is an interesting thing about having consciousness, is that we can get stressed out about things that aren't happening. So you can actually be dreaming something like getting in a car accident, and you wake up and your heart's pounding,
right,
and cortisol levels are high, and you're in complete distress. And that's your brain's kicking up that stress switch to just that dream, actually.
No, is that what happens?
A lot of things can trigger it.
Is that what happens? Like you're in the mid. This happened to me, so I go first person. You're in a really stressful situation in your dream, and then your brain says, "Wait a minute, this is a dream. I'm going to wake myself up." Boom, you're awake.
Yes, you're awake, and it's still awake in a state of stress, and then your body has to kind of realize, oh wait, I'm in my room, I'm safe, this kind of thing, and then the stress slowly goes down.
Right.
But if you have the devices, what a lot of people do is after night terrors or nightmares, they will wake up and put the devices on, and then they'll be able to go back to sleep and finish out their night of sleep, because most of the time, if you wake up from a nightmare like that, you're not going back to sleep.
So it sounds like that things that we consider psychological may actually be physiological. Is that right?
Yes, there's no difference between psychological and physiological. It's all the same system.
Okay, well that's good. That's good to know, isn't it? Especially somebody in your profession.
It's great to know, and we've overcomplicated things, right? So people think of consciousness and our thoughts, and we really want to think we have control over a lot of these things. But when we break down how your brain and body actually work, it's more simple than that. And that's good news, because we can hack into it in more simple ways than we've been taught.
All right, real quickly, you said the device is two squares, and I have a question based on whatever conversations I've had on this show with people who do acupuncture, right? Is that what it's called, Joe?
Acupuncture, okay. Sure.
To those, the people who do that, or acupressure, they will say certain areas of your body control certain things, etc. Does the two devices you're talking about, do they do different things when you put them on different parts of your body?
So we designed the technology to be pretty powerful so that in the places that we say to use them, we know that they're effective. but they may be more effective in certain areas, like up kind of near your clavicle bones, up on your chest. That might be a more powerful area because, as the Eastern medicine practitioners will tell you, those are linked to the meridians in your body. But the technology works so well in most areas of the body that we really haven't tested if there's one area that's more effective than another.
Okay, you said a word I didn't understand, and I put my heart on my sleeve. Meridians? What was that word?
Meridian. Yeah. So when acupuncturists and people who do acupressure touch certain points of the body, because Eastern medicine says that there are actually lines of energy, or called meridians, that are in different areas of the body, and stimulating a certain point will change that.
Thank you.
So that's kind of that's how they look at things, and they call the energy of the body the chi.
No, I've heard the chi. I've heard of that, but I've never heard of that other word before. Good.
So do the other things that they claim work with this also? They can claim you can lose weight, but with acupuncture, they claim you can
quit smoking,
grow hair back, quit smoking.
What was that second one? Grow hair back? Yeah, don't I wish?
Yeah. I don't know about the hair back. That would be the next big
Oh, yeah, be a multi-zillionaire on that one. Oh, please.
I think what we're there is really good research on acupuncture for certain things. And I think the bottom line is that anything that reduces your stress in a major way is going to have a positive impact on all the horrible things that stress causes. Stress causes us to go into addictive behavior. It causes us to be angry. It causes us to lose sleep. It causes us to gain weight. So when you're looking at something that has an overall effect, like, acupuncture or the touch points, or even going to certain kinds of therapies or exercise even, you're going to have an overall positive effect for whatever the stress is causing in your life.
And as a preventive measure, talk about that a little bit. It sounds like so far we've talked about curing or reversing something, but what about just preventing something? Like, for example, let's say somebody knows that getting on an airplane causes them to be nauseous because they're just so afraid they get they want to vomit or something. Mm-hmm. Would this done in advance allow them to fly without the fear of flying?
Absolutely, and it's a good question. This is, again, because we have consciousness. Just like you can go into fight or flight having a dream of something that isn't happening, we can imagine things that are going to be stressful, and the stress actually hits our body in that moment. So what you do is you have the devices, you think about the upcoming flight, and it should lower your stress level. And if you do that a few times and then have the devices while you're actually on the flight, then you can tolerate flying, and over time it has what we call a desensitization effect. And this is how we cure phobias. So any phobia, anything you're afraid of, can be cured in this way, not necessarily just with the touch points, although in some cases I've seen it happen, but in conjunction with certain therapies. We can cure all phobias.
Have you ever heard of something called the Rife frequency machine?
I have not.
Well, this is from a long time ago. I've done the show a long time, and I haven't heard that in a while either. My brain had to go back into the catalog there, or whatever.
Your hard drive, yeah.
But it was a guy named Rife, I think it was up in Canada, and he invented this machine, and he said if you had it at the right frequency, you could pretty much eliminate anything. And I'm not saying that he could. I'm just saying that's what he said he could do. But this sounds like it does something similar, but maybe with new technology, it's able to do it more accurately or more... I don't know. I mean, do you adjust it at all? Do you have different numbers and that kind of thing?
Yeah, there are 3 settings. One that we call for sleep, one we say is for calm, and one we say is for anger, for bringing down anger. But really, one of those 3 settings should work on most people. And as far as the Rife machine, it's interesting. Nikola Tesla said, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, look to energy, frequency, and vibration. And we're really obsessed with the chemical part of our brain and taking pills and pharmaceuticals, but we are ignoring the fact that our brain is electrochemical. And so I don't know what this Rife machine did, but there's a lot of research going on now with things called neurostimulation, where you actually can emit a frequency, the brain will pick it up, and it will change the brain. And so there's a lot of exciting things happening in our neuroscience world that are really working with frequency, energy, and vibration, and we're getting much better effects in a lot of cases than we can from pharmaceuticals or from chemicals.
One of the things you said it can help with is anger. I have a question about anger. This may be just me. I don't know. But if I'm angry and somebody says, "Come on, calm down. Don't be so angry," I don't want to calm down. I want to be angry.
I know.
Isn't that crazy? Now, if I'm tired, if I'm sleepy, I want to wake up. I don't want, the other things you said it can cure it. I am voluntarily saying, yeah, fix this. But I think I'd be resistant to calm. You know what I mean? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does. And my question would be, what do you want to hold on to that anger for?
Exactly. I don't know.
Well, if I'm not angry, maybe I'm trying to manipulate someone's behavior with me. Maybe if they don't, if they think I'm angry, then they'll do what I want them to do, or maybe there's a secondary gain. But you really don't want to be angry. And the reason why is because it's inflammatory to your body. And also, you do bad stuff when you're angry.
This is
right?
true.
You say things you don't mean. You create things that then you have to clean up. You create messes that you have to clean up. So anger is there. It's part of your fight or flight response. But it's sometimes all these emotions are good. They're there to give you information, right? If you go into fight or flight or anger about something right away, that's some information that you can use, but you don't really want to stay in that angry state to get a secondary gain.
Go ahead. I got a question.
Is it human specific, or would this work on animals?
So it will work on, we've tested it on dogs and horses, and it does work on animals because they have a similar fight or flight, stress system than humans. What differentiates us from the animals is just our thinking brain, right? We can get all convoluted and caught up in our thinking. We can think about the future and the past and do all these things that animals really don't do as much.
Right.
But it can work on dogs and horses.
Animals are more instinct. Question: does this, for an easy thing, you go into an amusement park, but you get motion sickness and you're going on rides and all this. And from what I'm understanding, this can control you, that kind of feeling. So when you put it on the device and you feel calm and you're all set, the stress level is down to almost zip, and you're going on the rides, how long does that last, for lack of words? In other words, you put it on, and then you put them in your pocket, or do you have to keep wearing them for long periods of time?
It's a great question, and that depends. Remember, what stress really is it's your body's in-the-moment reaction to some kind of stimuli. So if I'm all calm, and if I just go to yoga, let's say, and I'm very calm, and someone says, well, how long is that feeling going to last? It depends on what's happening in my world. If I hear a fire alarm, it's gone. That moment's gone because my body's designed to put me right back in a state of stress. But if I don't hear a fire alarm, then I should be okay for a while. That effect should last quite a while. And everyone's biology is different. I can come out of a yoga class and a thought can occur to my mind like, oh no, you forgot to do this. And if I'm a stressed out person in general, I can go right back into fight or flight.
Oh my! So what I'm saying, okay, so I have these devices on my wrist, and I'm going to go on a roller coaster. I would keep them on my wrist while I'm on that roller coaster. It would calm me down some, or would I still get the thrill of the roller coaster, but not scared or sickness, motion sickness per se?
Yeah, probably the second thing that you said. We haven't really tested it on roller coasters, and it's interesting.
Well, I'm just using that as an example, because some people get motion sickness per se, just like an airplane. I'm not sure if it interferes with motion sickness or not, but I've used it on my son before because he was too scared to go on a roller coaster. Okay.
And he had gone on the same roller coaster the year before, and I'm like, hey, dude, this is your favorite roller coaster. So I just popped him in his hands, and I'm like, you want to go now? And he's like, yes. So it removed the fear enough to get him on the roller coaster, and then he didn't have them on, and he was able to just enjoy it.
That's why. That was the second thing. He enjoyed it.
So when you asked me why would I want to say angry, I answered you honestly. I don't know. I don't really know why. But let's say your husband says to you, honey, you're all stressed out. Put this on. No, I don't want to. I mean, wouldn't you resist it too?
Some people do resist that, and that's just kind of like, have you ever been in a fight with somebody and they're angry and they put and they go relax, and it just makes you even more mad, right?
Oh yeah, they used to say chill out, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we're not. When you're that angry, you're pretty much in fight or flight, and what happens is you don't process and reason the same way as you do when you're calm. That's one of the problems with being stressed out too much, is our logic goes out the window. So yeah, some people would resist these. And so in kids, I tell parents, because the parents will be standing there like, Johnny, I know you're having a tantrum, but put these on and it's going to make you feel better. And Johnny's like, and it's like, no, just hand it to him. The trick is, and you can do this works with adults. If you reach your hands out to somebody like you're going to drop something, they will actually instinctually, without thinking, take it in their hands. And then it works so fast
really
that they're going to actually get some of that relief. Right. Or I've actually been following my boyfriend around and he's upset about something or whatever, and I'll just pick them both in his back pockets and walk away.
Does he walk funny?
All the time, but with the touch points on, he walks less funny.
all right, so if I'm holding up the convenience store and I give this to the clerk, I don't want to scare you, I just want to rob your money.
Where did you get that from? Oh my gosh. Only Larry.
I think too, you're still going to go into fight or flight with these sometimes, but it will, you want your fight or flight system. If a snake comes in my office right now, I want to be able to react quickly and run. That's the whole point of
That's
having a stress system,
right.
is you don't have to think about it.
So
but it will calm you down faster afterwards, according to some research that we have.
So how big are these little devices? Are they an inch square, 2 inch square, or?
Yep, they're about an inch square.
About an inch square. And how do they when you said you put them on your wrists or you could put them in your hands, are they adhesive? Are they pressure held in? How's that applied?
So they're modular, and so you can actually slide wristbands, kind of like the Apple Watch bands, or you slide them on and off the centerpiece. We made them modular like that. And then for kids, we actually zip them into sweatbands that they can wear on their wrists or their socks, because we've actually found that can calm down kids with anxiety and also kids with autism. It seems to help regulate their sensory overload.
I'm going to stop you right there. Go to that back one. Yeah. Autism? Talk to me about autism. We've got a few minutes more. Go into that if you would.
Sure.
How does it not only calm them down? Does it help them? How's that work?
So one of the biggest problems in autistic kids' brains is that their sensory network turns their stress switch on with regular sensory input. So someone turns a light on, they could go into full-blown fight or flight and hide under a desk or start banging their head. So they have a very sensitive sensory system. And because we're adding a sensory input with this vibration, it seems to help regulate them. And one study in the UK found a 72% reduction in self-harming and destructive behaviors in the classroom when they were wearing them all day.
So the book...
So most people don't wear them all day.
The book is...
But autistic should. Okay.
That's interesting. Yeah, Joe has an autistic grandchild. That's why he's interested. We had a story the other day in Universal Studios. There was an autistic child, and the worker there actually laid down on the ground where the child was kind of having a tantrum. And because she kind of understood how to, maybe she's a psychologist in the making, she knew how to calm him down. And it was a great story because the mom posted it on Facebook, and she was given all kinds of accolades. The book is number one in the preventive medicine category. That's pretty impressive. Is the book a standalone, or do you have to get the devices too?
No, you don't have to get the devices. I wrote the stress switch for everyone, and there's a lot of tips and tricks and information in there that even if someone doesn't buy the devices, they will come away with much better understanding of how to regulate themselves and have a better life, and a much better understanding of how to help themselves and the people they love with their stress.
How much are the things, the squares? How much are they?
The devices are $159 online.
Oh, okay. Is it at your website, amyserin.com?
Yep, amyserin.com has links to get the book and the touch points, and also information on my clinic.
Yeah, I see they're patent pending, right?
All right. And if you're listening and you'd like the copy that was sent to us of the book, I don't have the devices, just the book, give me a call, 622-9622, and we will leave it here for you.
Yeah, I would have fought you for the devices.
Doctor, that was just very interesting. Technology is unbelievable. Every time you turn around, there's something else that's just amazing. Dr. Amy Serin, the website again is Amy Serin, Serin, Amy, AMYSERAN.com. Call me.
Stress switch.
Call me if you need it repeated. We'll put this up as a recorded podcast later on as well. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, guys. What a pleasure.
All right, we'll be right back.
Are you a medical provider that doesn't like to settle for the same boring scrubs? Scrub Paradise in Ocala has a wide selection of top brand scrubs with embroidery available and the newest medical shoes and accessories. Every medical provider should look as great as the care they provide. Scrub Paradise is just off Easy Street next to Shoe Carnival in Ocala. Stop by today or give them a call at 352-873-4368. That's 352-873-4368.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News, I'm Lillian Wu. Democrats blasting